Variable on both sides. Example 1. Mark is performing a lymphoscintigraphy on a patient. This task will help him determine the function of the lymph nodes throughout the body. Use this equation to determine how much dye should be sent into his patient's lymphatic system. So, looking at the equation, we have 4D minus 10 equals 2D plus 12. So we can see that we have a variable on both sides. So let's go over a few things first. When solving an equation, we want the variable on one side. This is our first step. If the variable is on both sides, we will move the variable on one side by adding or subtracting. So let's go ahead and look back at our example here. So we see that we have two variables, one on each side. So what we will do is we will show two different ways to solve this. So the first way will be to subtract 2D on both sides. Now 2D minus 2D is equal to 0. 4D minus 2D is equal to 2D. And then we have minus 10 is equal to 0 plus 12. Now we want the variable on one side and by itself. So we're just going to have to add the 10 to both sides. So now we have 2D is equal to 12 plus 10, which is equal to 22. Now we divide by 2 on both sides, and we get D is equal to 11. So this is our answer. So now let's look at a different way if we solved it. We have 4D minus 10 is equal to 2D plus 12. So what happens if you choose to go minus 4D on both sides? So 4D minus 4D is equal to 0. Minus 10, which is equal to 2. Minus 4 is equal to negative 2D plus 12. Now to get D on by itself on one side, we're going to subtract 12 to both sides. So we get negative 10, and we're going to add the negative 12 to it. So negative 10 minus 12, which is equal to minus 22, which is equal to negative 2D. Then we subtract. Then we divide by negative 2 on both sides. So now D is equal to negative 22 divided by negative 2, which is equal to positive 11, because a negative sign divided by another negative sign is positive, and this gets us to our answer. So as we can see that these are both the same, we get the same answer. So if you solve it for either way, both will get you to the right answer. So now let's look at another example. Val is measuring the edema or swelling in her patient's right leg by using the equation below. Help Val solve this equation to determine the measure of edema. So we'll rewrite this out. So for the first step, we're going to move the variable. So let's just subtract from both sides the 7x. So 7x minus 7x, which is equal to 0, plus 4 is equal to 2x minus 22. So now we will add 22 to both sides to make it x by itself on one side of the variable sign. So 4 plus 22 is equal to 26, because this is 0. Now we will divide by 2 on both sides, and we get x is equal to 13. So this would be the answer to our solution. So let's do another one. Cynthia is measuring the swelling and wants an even more accurate number. Uses equation to determine the measure of edema swelling. Here we have for this one, let's just move 1.1x to the other side. So we're going to subtract on both sides the 1.1x. On this side, this becomes 0 plus 2.6. Now we have 2.2 minus 1.1. So this is equal to 1.1x minus 4. So then we will add 4 to both sides. So we get 1.1x is equal to 2.6 plus 4, which is equal to 6.6. Then we will divide by 1.1 on both sides. So we get what x is equal to. So 6.6 divided by 1.1, which can be confirmed by our calculators, is equal to 6. So x equals 6. Let's go to another example. Example 4. Mark is performing another lymphoscintigraphy on a patient. Use this equation to determine how much dye should be sent into his patient's lymphatic system. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. So for this one, let's go ahead and subtract 2.5d on both sides. And we'll put it right under, the 11.5. So this becomes 0. 11.5 minus 2.5 is equal to 9d. And you can always verify with a calculator. Now we're going to go minus 6 is equal to 12 on the other side. To get d by itself, we're going to add 6 to both sides of the equal sign. So minus 6 plus 6 is equal to 0. And then 12 plus 6 is equal to 18. And we get 9d. So 9d can be then divided by 9 on both sides to then just get d on by itself. So 18 divided by 9 is equal to 2. So for this answer, 2 is the correct answer. If we want to verify that we got the correct solution, which is d equals 2, what we could do is we can plug in 2 for any time there is a d in this equation. So let's go ahead and do that real quick just to show that this is correct. So we have 11.5 times 2 minus 6 is equal to 2.5 times 2 plus 12. So 11.5 times 2 is equal to 23 minus 6 is equal to 2.5 times 2 is 5 plus 12. And this 23 minus 6 is 17, which is equal to 5 plus 12, which is also 17. So we can see that this is the correct solution of d equals 2 for this expression.